Spring turned to fall, and in no time, Linley had already spent over half a year at the Institute. During his time there, he eagerly learned the basics of magic, constantly improving his understanding and proficiency in wind elementals. Dennis occasionally offered his insights, helping him along the way. It was a sunny day. Thanks to regular training, Linley cut a striking figure in the blue robe, which caught the attention of several girls from the classes he attended. These girls were the ones who often liked chatting with him after class. At the moment, Linley and his friends were strolling leisurely through the campus, their conversation filled with laughter and camaraderie. "Oh, Linley, we're going to the new student mixer this afternoon. Are you coming?" Peter asked with a grin. Peter was very enthusiastic about social activities and had a knack for gathering information and making friends with other students. Though only enrolled for half a year, he was already quite popular on campus among the Institute's freshmen. "No, I'll pass," Linley declined without hesitation. "Oh, Lord, I knew Linley wasn't going to go," Nathan laughed. Grant put his arm around his shoulder and said, "Linley, my man, don't overdo it with the training. With your talent, just a bit of effort, and you'll hit the higher tiers of power within 30 years, no problem. Why push yourself so hard? You must enjoy life too. Plenty of interesting people at the mixer, you know." "Yeah, really cute," Nathan chimed in, with wide eyes. Linley gave a resigned chuckle. Under Grant's guidance, Nathan had already gone off the rails. "Grant, you rascal. Count me out. I should go practice. Tomorrow's month end. I'll hang out with you guys then. I promise," Linley said with a laugh. Over the past few months, he had gotten into the habit of training hard and only taking the final 2 days of every month off as a break. Grant, Nathan, and Peter, familiar with his determined nature, nodded in agreement. Linley immediately set off, briskly jogging towards the hills behind the Institute. In addition to the students, many mages conducted research and experiments there. With quite a few service staff too, the Institute had a large population. Along the way, Linley also saw quite a few students wearing light blue robes. A low growl sounded, followed by a chilling howl. Linley knew what it sounded like. He knew that there were just a few things in the world that could make a sound like that. A dire creature. The flowing mane, smooth teal fur, and strong, sturdy limbs gave the creature a formidable appearance. Its wild, cold eyes and chilling, metallic, gleaming claws were enough to send shivers down one's spine. The creature, a gale-wind wolf, was known for its terrifying speed, a terrifying beast as fast as the wind. The most frightening thing in the woods behind the Institute was a pack of gale-wind wolves. Once you ran into a pack with their speed, escape was nearly impossible. A young man with striking black hair sat proudly atop the majestic beast, surveying his surroundings. This is probably a 5th or 6th year student, Linley thought to himself. Indeed, many at the Institute owned dire creatures, who would be used for various purposes. Apart from the mages specifically recruited by the Institute, some 5th and 6th year students would purchase Spectral Pact scrolls and other magical contracts that allowed them to tame these creatures. Though impressed, looking at the boy's smug expression, Linley turned and left. It was clear the boy thought no end of himself. There were many of the sort in the Institute, and over the time he had spent there, Linley knew that they were nothing but a waste of his time. Leaving through the back gate of the Institute, he entered the hills behind. The hills behind the Institute were immense. Long ago, dire creatures roamed these hills. However, the mages of the Institute had later wiped them out completely. Now only ordinary wild animals remained. As soon as he entered the woods, Linley's pace quickened. He cast the wind magic haste, and his body felt as light as a leaf on the breeze, allowing him to nimbly dart through the forest. After running a few miles, Linley reached his destination, an open space near a creek. Nimbles chirped at Linley again, eager for his attention. "Heading out to play again?" "All right, but don't stray too far while you're out there." Linley felt reassured about Nimbles. A year had passed since they first met, and although the little guy hadn't grown much, still around 8 inches long, his speed had greatly increased. Linley understood well the physical limitations of mages, while a highly skilled fighter at the 8th or 9th tier might catch the Nightshade Rodent. Only hallowed tier mages could manage the same feat. The little Nightshade Rodent darted into the woods swiftly. Old man, stop being lazy and give me some guidance, Linley immediately thought, reflecting on his progress and the challenges ahead. A wisp of mist emerged and transformed into Dennis. He looked at Linley with amusement. Over the past year, he had grown to like the company of the boy. In many ways, he saw a glimpse of his own childhood through him. Well, that's strange. Usually, you meditate and begin your training without bothering me, and today, you haven't even started and have already begun calling for me. I was having a good sleep with a good dream, and you interrupted it. Linley pursed his lips. Some would think that centuries of sleep would be enough even for an old man like you. Linley joked. Wise guy. Dennis was indeed a legendary archmage with his power level firmly in the upper ranks of the hallowed tier, but if one were to spend enough time with him, they'd know that he had the playful spirit of a mischievous child. I've been feeling like I've reached the level of a Tier 2 mage, Linley said, his voice carrying a hint of excitement. Could you help me test it out, you lazy old man? Tier 2, you say? Dennis, intrigued, continued. It's only been a year and a half since you started learning magic from me, and you think you've grown that much? All right, show me the Stone Shatter spell and give it your best shot. Among Tier 1 Earth Elemental mages, the spell increased in potency as the mage's power grew. In the realm of advanced magic, it eventually became known as Meteor Strike, a devastating force feared by many. Yes, I'll give it my best shot. Linley skillfully recited the complex incantation, so familiar with it that he could do so without thinking. As he recited the incantation, he felt his entire soul enter a heightened state of focus and awareness. The arcane energy in his chest surged immediately, pulling the surrounding primals towards him as if drawn by an invisible force. Suddenly, with a rumbling sound, the ground beside him cracked open. 5 head-sized stones flew up and hovered above his head, each surrounded by an earthy, yellow glow. As his eyes brightened, he murmured a command, and the stones smashed into the distance, creating a gust of wind. The 5 stones simultaneously smashed into a tree trunk, causing it to sway violently without breaking. Eventually, the stones fell to the ground. That's interesting. Very good. Dennis's eyes lit up. You can control 5 stones at once, and their speed is impressive. I don't think I'd argue with your ability as a Tier 2 mage now. You seem to have an impressive teacher. Dennis was very satisfied with Linley's performance. A trace of a smile also appeared on Linley's face. He was a step closer to his goal. As Linley was leaving, he remembered how his father had charged him with bringing glory back to his family. His father's words weighed heavily on his heart, serving as a constant reminder of his burden and goal. Dennis chuckled and said, Linley, reaching the 2nd tier is good, but you've got a long way to go. Only Tier 7 and above have something to be impressed about. Those are the real powerhouses, and you're not there yet. I know, Linley nodded. All right, you should focus on your training. I'm going to go complete my nap, Dennis said, before disappearing into thin air again. Linley set aside his excitement about becoming a Tier 2 mage and calmly sat cross-legged to begin meditating. Strength is built gradually from a young age, relying on the accumulation of consistent effort. About 2 or 3 miles away, Linley's wind element teacher, Brandon Foster, furrowed his brows. The Meteor Strike spell? Judging by its power, it seems to be about a Tier 2 level attack for now. Who could it be? When Brandon used the wind detection spell, he sensed Linley's magic fluctuations from miles away. From the slight changes in the air, Brandon could discern the specific spell being cast, showcasing his keen understanding of magical energies. Curious, he walked in that direction. With his strength as a Hexad Arcanist, a highly skilled magic caster, the spell Super Speed he cast allowed him to glide through the mountains like a gentle breeze, light and quick. In an instant, he appeared 100 meters away from Linley. Standing beside a large tree, he observed Linley in the distance. Is this energy from him? Brandon recognized his student. Linley rarely speaks in class. When it's time to cast magic, while others try, he always stands at a distance and never reveals his strength, yet it turns out he's already a Tier 2 mage. I didn't expect him to be a genius, especially since he's still a new student and barely even attends my classes. Linley's mysterious nature was well known among the students, as he rarely participated in group activities, not wanting to reveal his strength to anyone. Brandon's face lit up with pride as he thought about the genius among his students and the potential prize money in this year's first-year class competition. Meanwhile, Linley, deep in meditation, had no idea that he had captured Brandon's attention.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and play